YouTube. Welcome back to another video. This is Coach Brian Turner, and I'm here, guys. Hey, check this out. When you talk about defense, when you talk about hustle, all right, when you talk about winning plays, winning basketball, and I like to do these videos because I'm bringing YouTube into my world as far as the whole methodology of why do I do the things that I do. And a lot of it stems from growing up having this guy as being probably, I would say, my first favorite player. And when I say my first favorite player, it was because growing up, man, I played on some great youth teams. And I wasn't always the star in my younger days. So it was just like, okay, what can I do to add value to my minutes, or trying to get minutes, trying to get respect on the court? You got to be able to hustle. You got to be able to play defense. So at a very young age of about 10, 11, 12, man, I used to study this guy, and I studied him to a T, to where it innately became part of just my whole basketball DNA. All right. And who am I talking about? I'm talking about no other than the Hall of Famer, Dennis the Worm Rodman. All right. Now you might laugh and you say, man, who is Dennis Rodman? Some of you youngsters might say, man, who is Dennis Rodman? Who is the Worm? But this guy was a pop cultural phenomenon in the 90s, or I'm gonna say the 80s and in the 90s. This guy, man, had a run like no other, and especially when it came down to winning basketball, winning teams, and you just had to have somebody on your team like this. All right. So what I'm gonna do a little deep dive. Gonna have some fun facts, kind of give a little background and a little breakdown. I'm gonna show you some highlights of the Worm. All right. Now, again, youngsters today, if you don't know who I'm talking about, if you've never seen these guys' highlights, man, watch this video right here and tell me what you think. So again, man, I got inspired. I threw all my stuff on. I threw my Bulls on. I threw my the Rodman jersey. I got 91 on. I got the NWO in the background right there, because he was just such a huge pop phenomenon during his time, man. The guy was like no other, and we actually need more guys like this in the league today. If we did, man, I watch this guy all night long, all day long. Yeah, man, he was just one of my favorites, man. So let's check this guy out, man. Let's see what he brought to the table, and see if you can respect this. Just nonstop. So let me just throw some things out there. All right. Nicknamed the Worm, he was a 5-time NBA champion with the bad boy Pistons, and the all-time great Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan. Okay. He was a 2-time defensive player of the year, 7-time rebounding champ. So get this, guys. This was a guy right here, man, who had 34 rebounds in a single game. 34 rebounds in a single game. Look at the hustle on him right there, man. Look at the stuff that he would do. And if he knocked the shot down, I think they said he didn't even want to score. All right. But again, he averaged 13 rebounds for his whole career. All right. But he had multiple seasons of averaging 18 rebounds per game. 18 rebounds per game. All right. And like I said, just for the most part, this guy grabbed 34 rebounds in one game. So these highlights that we're looking at this is not really part of his whole lore, but it was stuff like that. The rebound, the outlet pass. You know, uh, as a coach, I'm telling you, every team needed a Dennis Rodman, right? You didn't have to call any plays for him, no highlight reels about him scoring. Look at this. Look at this. All right. Today's players focus on too much skill development, the step backs, the handles, logo threes. But if you can rebound and you can defend, okay, and you bring energy like Rodman, I'm telling you, and it's coming from a coach's perspective, it's going to be hard to keep guys like that off the court, man. All right. If I had one message for today's hoopers, I'm going to say, just study Dennis Rodman tapes. Study Dennis Rodman. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. All right. He was part of the game. He was part of the bad boy Pistons. He was also part of the 72-10 Chicago Bulls, one of the all-time great teams that we've ever seen before. But with guard big men, with guard centers, with guard power forwards. And again, if you want to separate yourself, fellas, be able to do stuff like this on the court. Look at this. But the fun part about Dennis Rodman is that he just wasn't just this guy that's just doing all. He was just a personality. He brought so much fun to the game. All right. He was a basketball genius. And I'm going to say it. Yeah, he was a basketball genius on the defensive end when it came to defense and rebound. So what players, guys, man, that in today's game play like this? We've had guys in the past, the Ben Wallaces, the Rasheed Wallaces, guys like that, but nobody was like the Worm, flat out. Nobody was like this guy. One of the all-time greats. Played with some great organizations, the Pistons, the even the Spurs. Played with Greg Popovich, the Spurs, the Bulls. I mean, was just a phenomenal talent. And then again, he went off to do things like, become a best-selling author. He did a lot of little fun things off the court. Again, I mentioned the NWO belt in the background. He was part of the WCW NWO faction, actually wrestled on a couple pay-per-views with Hollywood Hogan and Hulk Hogan. But I mean, like I said, just at the end of the day, man, was just one of the all-time greats of just someone who just showed up and just did his job, and you couldn't argue whatever he was involved with, off the court. It didn't matter because, he was going to give you 18 rebounds per game, no matter what. No, I'm going to say 20 rebounds per game, no matter what. So, I mean, what more do you need? And people used to talk about how him having stories of after he finished a game, he would get on the Stairmaster with combat boots, or on the treadmill with combat boots, and just, work out for another 20, 30 minutes, just getting his exercise up. Excuse me. So, family out there, tell me what you think about the Worm. Is it somebody that plays like the Worm today, Dennis Rodman? Do you think kids need to learn how to play like Dennis Rodman, or do you think we're never going to see any guy like this ever in the NBA? Let me know in the comment section, and I will check you guys on the next video.